And we're live. Welcome back, Shifties. That was, oh my gosh, I was holding my breath. Not only was I smiling, I was holding my breath. I feel like a little bit lightheaded. Whew. But anyway, my name is Tito Mogus. I'm the host of Shift the Journey. This is a show where I get to interview people so they can talk about their career journeys. Basically, it came about just out of like a passion of mine. I love to help people find their way in their careers. And I learned along the way that a career is not like a career ladder. People talk about the career ladder often, but it's more like a lattice. So sometimes
Mm,
you take a side step. Sometimes it's like semi lateral or whatever, and then sometimes it's like you're like way off on the other side of the spectrum, and then you find what you love to do and what you're good at and what people will pay you to do. Because I mean, there are
mhm.
things that I love to do that people are like, I ain't paying you for that. So that's just the career journey. So we're here to help anybody out. If anybody is watching this who's not connected with me on LinkedIn, or if you're out there on Facebook or YouTube and you're like, who is this guy? And you have any questions, I'm prior military, so I did a little shift myself. Reach out, let's connect. All right, so today's episode, we have a special guest. And every week I say we have a special guest.
Yeah,
And because
every week is
every
special.
guest is special, but we have this extra special guest. This person shares DNA with me. She is my sister. This is Nicelle Priebe. Yay! All right, so I put it on LinkedIn saying that people used to think that we were twins. People always like,
Mhm.
are you guys twins? And so, I was like, well, let's see, you guys tell me. I'm
Go
gonna
closer to the camera.
yeah, here, let's see. How about this? Let's share my screen. Look at that. Do we look like twins there? We look like models. That's what we look like. You know,
It's an album
it's,
shot.
it's the
You
one
go up
on
front.
the right side. I'm like, uh,
Uh,
that was a smirky day. It was a
yeah,
smirky day.
smirky day.
Yeah, and then the one where I'm in the front. I think
Yeah.
I think Dad was trying to make it look like we are the same size or something. I don't know. It was crazy.
Depth of field.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't understand those things because I'm not like this art person. But hey, look at you. You're this art person. So I put on there that you were involved in art, music, and
Mhm.
education.
Mhm.
And I know we don't have like time to talk about your entire journey, but let's let everybody know where you're originally from. Where
Yes,
are you from?
original. I
Yeah.
am from, well, California, mostly Riverside, California, where you're from. And
Oh, that's right.
yes, mostly raised in Riverside, California. We were there from when we were in preschool all the way through. We finished high school there, and then began the crazy lattice journey of trying to figure out, what to do and who I was. So,
Yeah. So, like right now, you're a director of classical conversations, right? Classical conversations, right? And
yes,
and so that's the education part.
uh-huh.
But was that something that was ever on your radar when you were growing up?
No, because first of all, in order to be a classical conversations director, you have to be home educating your kids. So that's already two things that I didn't think I was going to do. I didn't think I was going to have kids, and I never ever in my entire life up until having them even entertained the idea of home education. So it was always institutional education, probably if I did have kids, private school,
Mhm.
or like a special public school. They have them here. They're called magnet schools. So that was my vision and my, um, not even my vision. I don't even know what you call that. Because I was thinking about that. Like, I'm the type of person that doesn't really live towards some goal or picture. I really kind of just see what's happening in the near future. It's
Mhm.
even difficult for me to forecast past like 1 or 2 years. That's
Oh,
not how
'cause that's
I
like a
think.
genetic thing
Yeah.
because,
Hmm.
you know, people were like I remember, you know, however many, interviews, "Ooh, tell me where you're gonna be in 5 years." I'm like, "Bro,
Yeah.
I don't even know where I'm gonna be next
Oh, I
week."
hate that
So,
question. Yeah.
yeah, so I can tell you that I don't know, but I want to
Yeah.
be alive. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to remember what you went off to college for. So you went to Michigan for your
Yeah.
freshman year, right?
Yep.
That's
I went.
when you came back and we had our family picture and you were really pale,
Yes.
right?
Pale and a little puffy.
Unfortunately, I don't have that picture. I didn't think about that. Actually, I thought about that, but
I'll
I
have it
thought it
somewhere.
might scar people to see me with
Yeah.
the big old hair on my head.
And
Ugh.
glasses, the big glasses.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
Darth Vader glasses. But you went off to school for
mhm.
architecture, right?
Yes, architecture.
Oh, so how
Seemed
long that
like a really great idea because I was interested in engineering. I loved math, and art and design was kind of a very last minute thing for me because I started taking art in academy at like 12th grade year, and I was like, "Ooh, I really like this." But
Mhm.
then I wasn't going to be an artist, so I should just do architecture because it's like the marrying of engineering and art in my mind. So
Mhm.
I went to check out engineering at UCR, and maybe it was Cal Poly Pomona or something like that. I did an
Mhm.
engineering camp, and then thought, nah, it's too intense for me. I want to do architecture. And I wanted to go, I kind of decided I wanted to stay within the denominational schools that we had. And
Yeah,
Andrews was nice and far, and it was a
yeah.
new experience, and that's what I
So
wanted.
over there.
Yeah, exactly.
All
I
the
didn't
all
even
the
visit. I didn't even look at it. There's no
Are you
online back then.
serious?
No, I was just like, oh, cool. It's all the way in Michigan. I'm out of here. Like, it's new. It's gonna be fun. Like, I'm telling you, I didn't even really forecast. I was just like, oh yeah, sounds good.
Did you even think about the snow?
No,
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't go with any like winter clothes because I didn't have any.
Yeah.
So I had to go shopping, which I had to use on the very first day, freshman um, orientation or whatever. They had people on the sidewalk. I signed up for a Discover card, and it was the beginning of my debt journey
Oh, no.
because they're like,
That's
"Oh, you're 18. You can sign up for your own credit card."
Oh
I
my
needed to
gosh.
buy winter coats and winter
Yeah.
clothes.
Yep.
So there you
Oh my
go.
gosh.
I
That's so
know.
crazy.
They were
That's
like
so nuts.
sharks.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's a topic for another
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But, so how long were you there?
I was there for 2 years.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I also went and with a orchestra scholarship to play violin.
Mhm.
So that's part of what helped me get there. And then midway through my first year, I dropped out of that because I didn't like the conductor or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's safe to say,
Something
I don't know if they're
lame.
watching, you know?
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
was
that's so
something lame. I
funny.
really should have stayed in. But I also dropped out of architecture school and decided to do med tech. And I
I
was
don't
like, I
remember
can't
any of
really
this
cut.
stuff.
I know. Well, I was sick a lot. I missed a bunch of classes, and then I was really not seeing that I was going to succeed. And it's a tough program.
Mhm.
And I was one of the ones that just got weeded out. And so then I was like, all right, I'll do med tech. I can do that. And then I was like, oh no, no thanks. And and then my final quarter of my first year, I was an art student, and I was like, oh, graphic arts, I can do that because I have
Uh-huh.
experience in that because I worked with dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could do that. I could be in printing, and I really liked the art classes. And so then I did that for the remainder of my time there.
Yeah.
Before then, I moved to San Francisco.
Did you use any of the, like, in that time frame? Did you use any of the knowledge that you gained from our 1 hour Photoshop back in the
Yes,
day? So
yes.
yeah, for anybody out there who doesn't know, our family used to own this place called In an Hour Photo. Isn't that what it
Uh-huh.
was called? In an
In
Hour
an
Photo.
hour photo.
Yeah, and
So good.
like nowadays people go, "What is that?" Because you have a camera on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a camera in their pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every device has a camera, but back then, you'd have to develop your film somewhere and then you
Mm-hmm.
go back and you pick up your pictures, and we did it in an hour. That's why it
Yeah.
was called In an Hour Photo.
Yeah, we even had a drive-through slot, and they could like put their roll of film in an envelope, write their name, just stick it in there, and in an hour I would have prints for them ready to pick up.
Yeah, it's something about like the smell of all the chemicals
Mm-hmm.
never, like, left me. I still
Yeah,
remember that. Oh,
binged
man.
in the nostrils.
Yeah. So then
Yeah,
yeah, so then you came back home and then you moved to San Francisco.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what school did you go to there?
I went to the Art Institute. Oh no, sorry, wrong school. I went to the Academy of Art, and back then it was still Academy of Art College. Now it's Academy of Art University. And it's a really
Uh-oh.
cool concept of several buildings all over the city, but they're all connected. So it's the city is your campus, and there was a shuttle that would go around all the different buildings depending on what classes you took. And I couldn't afford to live in the city itself, so I lived in
Mhm,
Berkeley for a little while, and then moved
mhm.
over to the other coast, but took the train in, and so it was a great experience. It was the most um, it was a professional school, so all of the teachers were working
Okay,
professionals, really like top-notch teachers. It was a great experience.
okay. So, did you have a lot of people? Because since it was San Francisco, did you have a lot of people, like, trying to speak to you in, like, Mandarin or something?
Maybe,
I
but
bet. I bet that happened.
no,
It
but
had
that's
to have
where I
happened.
learned the difference. I could hear the difference between Cantonese and Mandarin because
Yeah.
my roommate spoke Cantonese, and well, I had three roommates, and then the other roommate was like Burmese. He spoke Burmese, Cantonese, English, and Japanese. The other one was Japanese and English, and then the other one was Cantonese and English. So it was like I got exposure to all of this and could tell the difference. And they taught me little phrases. And then when you're at the train station, you could like tell, oh, they're speaking
Ah,
Chinese, but they're speaking Cantonese. They're speaking Taiwanese. They're speaking
oh,
Mandarin. Like,
that's so interesting.
yeah.
So, did you graduate from the Art Institute?
No, that was only school number two. So
What
close.
was next?
After that, so it's funny. I have this interesting 2-year cycle at school. So after 2 years there, I went down south to Laguna Beach to the Art Institute of Southern California. And now I think it has a different name. But back in the day, that's what it was called, AISC, right in the canyon. And that was the more studio art, like artsy experience.
Hmm,
The San Francisco was like the professional graphic design, typography, like tight lines and really hardcore classes. And then Laguna Beach was like, be an artist and still learn skills, but like you can do this. You can live as an artist and be in galleries and live the life at the beach and stuff. But I didn't, obviously.
yeah. When did you find out that that's not what you wanted?
Uh, a year and a half into
Mhm.
there. It was just uh, it wasn't that I didn't want it. It was I couldn't handle it. I just was in a bad place. I think I
Mhm.
started a what do you call it? Like a little journey of depression and
Yeah,
anxiety
yeah.
and identity crisis at its full tilt.
Yeah.
So it was kind
Yeah.
of, I
It's
was living a double life, kind of.
oh
That's what
yeah.
I like to call it.
Yeah. I think the experience of like all the transitions during the pandemic really put mental health into a focus for
Hmm.
a lot of people. Growing up, Gen X, we're like, you're not supposed to show your feelings. You're not supposed to, you're I was in the military. They're like, yeah, don't like show emotion and don't if you have a problem, don't tell anybody. And now like one of the biggest issues for veterans is mental health, so
Yeah.
it's but it's like it turns out it's always been that way. But
Hmm.
people just
Hmm.
didn't really talk about it back then. So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
And it's interesting because I've taken a look back at it when I was applying to be a director. Actually, you have to give your story and
Hmm.
your testimony. And so I looked at it, and it was really like a 18-month to 2-year cycle, because I always
Hmm.
started out like killing it. Dean's
Yeah.
List, just rock star student. All my projects were so great. And then I would start to mingle and social life and trying to figure out who I was with that socially and
Yeah.
spiritually. And then everything would start to tank because I just
Hmm.
couldn't manage it. And then I
Yeah.
thought, well, maybe I need a job because maybe I need money. Because I'm, tired of like calling mom and asking her for more money. So then, like, okay, I'll get a job. And then I couldn't handle having both the job and being in art school because that's so hard. Your classes are
Yeah.
3 hours long, your projects take 24 hours, to do, and you have them twice a week. It's really difficult to work at the same time as being in art school, for me anyways. There were
Hmm.
people that did it and they were great, but I didn't know how to manage that for myself. And so then there's all this, oh, I hate myself, I can't do it, I'm a failure, blah blah blah. And so it's just a cycle. And then I'd move, do a new start, and obviously you've seen it was Michigan, San Francisco, Laguna Beach, like far. I want a brand new
Yeah.
start, something
Yeah.
totally different, and then just kick it into gear. And then 18 months to 2 years later, it's like, wow, because I didn't really have a handle on who I was
Yeah.
spiritually.
Yeah. No, definitely. So what was your the moment that you decided, oh, this is not for me in Laguna?
Um, in Laguna,
Yeah.
when I couldn't sit in class without crying, and then
Oh.
everybody was like feeling sorry for me. It was really bad. And then, I was at a party, and it, it was just really bad. Like I was spitting out all this stuff about, hating myself and all this. And so then my
Yeah.
friends were like, we really think you need help. Like the next day when everything
Yeah.
was serious and bright sunshine, they're like, we really think you need some help. And so then I listened to that, and I thought, wow, maybe I do. And maybe I need to drop out of school again. So went to work full time, went to counseling, and thought maybe I wanted to be a sales manager for retail. That was my
Yeah.
new frontier. And so I
Oh
did
my
that for a
gosh.
little bit.
That's so crazy.
I know.
What how long were you doing that? I must have been where was I?
You
Was
were
I in the Philippines?
already
Was I in the Air Force?
no, you were already in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were in Spokane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
transitioning up, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did that, oh my gosh, maybe 6 to 8 months, and then realized that I didn't like it and wanted to go back to school. So, school number 4,
Yeah, which one was that? Was that Azusa?
Azusa
Ah,
Pacific
okay.
University.
Yeah.
So then back at a private Christian liberal arts school, because I started at one and then I ended at one. And then
Mm-hmm.
we're sandwiched the art schools. um, so that was another wonderful experience where they just give you all kinds of opportunity to have your own studio space. And I prepared a solo exhibition while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was so great. And I also played in the orchestra there. And so I got to have the musical outlet. And that gave me a little bit of scholarship to finish my art degree there. So also got a part-time job at the newspaper there. And so I was a graphics editor and illustrator there. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was using all of my skills. Everything was firing at the same time, but yet I just felt healthier because I was just in a better place. I was also older. I was in the older students club, or whatever you call it. We were like the 25 and 26-year-olds
Oh my gosh, yeah.
that were on campus.
Yeah, I'm on a 7-year plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it
did
took
that,
me, I
except
think, 9 years.
mine was the 20-year plan. So that's
Yeah.
cool. No problems there. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like when I remember, my first day at um, La Sierra University. And then I
Mm-hmm.
remember my last day when I graduated, and that was like 22 years apart, something like that. But it was like the month before I retired from the Air Force. So,
Yeah.
it's yeah. So, 2 years, oh gosh, it was like 23 years because it was like 3 years before I joined the Air Force after high school.
Mm.
Yeah. 92, 95. Yeah. And then retired in 2015. So yeah. No, I was on the long plan.
Yeah.
But hey,
I mean, sometimes I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like I was a much better student in my 20s, my mid 20s,
Oh
than
yeah.
I could have been as a
Well,
teenager. You kidding?
because like your priorities are different,
Oh,
your life
yeah.
experience is different.
Hmm.
There's no way that I would have been able to. There was no. I was going to say eh, that I was going to be able to. No, I did not. There was not any way that
What
I
do you
could
say?
have made myself stay in class and be like disciplined
Hmm.
as a 17-year-old freshman in college. Forget about it.
Yeah, you were especially young for yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to experience all kinds of stuff before I actually was able to sit in school and do the homework and all that stuff. Oh my gosh. So anyway, let's
Yeah.
so you graduated from Azusa Pacific with
Uh-huh.
a degree in, what was it, graphic design?
No, it was
No,
an art
it
degree.
was an art degree. Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
then
I could tell
what,
you
like,
why though.
okay, go ahead.
So I was already doing graphic design as a freelancer. I was freelancing. I already knew how to use all of the Adobe suite, and I already knew Paste Up and
Oh, Adobe. I like chicken.
yeah, Chicken Adobe. Um, I already knew that world. I knew a bit about printing and all of that stuff because I was already working sometimes doing that. And so when I went to school, I was like, okay, they have a program. I could graduate with it, but why not do sculpture and oil painting? And then I could still work as a graphic designer. And that's what I ended up doing. So I got to broaden my focus in
Hmm.
the in fine art and
Okay.
then use those skills in addition to all of the typography and design skills that I had already learned up in San Francisco
Yeah.
because that already gave me such a good foundation.
Oh, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, fast forward a little bit, and so you graduated. What year did you graduate?
Oh,
That
2000, 2000.
right, and then a couple years later, you guys moved to Nashville, right?
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
graduated, then we got married the following year, then we moved. Yeah.
yeah. And so, what was that like trying to find a job in a new city where you
Didn't
didn't really know a lot of people? Because that's like
know anybody.
that was like the biggest, like most painful part of finding my first job was moving to
Hmm.
Nashville. and it's like,
Yeah. Well, I had been taught early on, and I did it in San Francisco and I did it in Orange County in California. Everywhere that I moved, I signed up with a temp agency because our big sister taught me that. Because
Who's
I
big
had
sister? What?
ours.
I don't have a big sister. I have an older sister. I have two older sisters,
Yes.
but
Well,
I
yeah,
don't have any.
older.
There's nobody
Bigness.
in my family who's bigger
She's
than.
not bigger. Yeah,
Well,
she's older.
taller,
Uh,
yeah.
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 But she taught me that because you can work for a day, you can work for a week, you can work for 2 weeks, whatever you can say yes or no to whatever assignment they offer you. And I had a lot to offer in the realm of clerical, administrative assistant,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
graphics design stuff. And so that's how I got my first job in Nashville. I did a couple of other temporary things, and then did like a receptionist thing at the architectural firm CFP group, and then they wanted to hire me. So I kind of I was their receptionist for a little while, and they're like, "You're a little overqualified to be a receptionist. Do you have other skills?" And so I was like, "Yeah." And so then I became the executive assistant to the CFO and CEO, and
Oh,
I was
nice,
doing graphic design and marketing with them. So
nice. And so you fast forward even a little bit more. How did you
mhm.
find your way into education? What was the catalyst for that?
um, my child, Nora Kate Pleeby.
Noah
She
Tapuibe.
she was reading when she was 3 years old, and I thought,
With this
okay,
really mousy voice.
yeah,
It was the most bizarre thing, speaking
reading
like
and writing.
really very, it's like very, very intelligible, very, I don't even know how to
Uh-huh.
say it, like just enunciating
Very
well, but
clear.
in
Yeah.
this really, really high pitched voice. It was the craziest thing.
Well, she comes by it
Yeah, no kidding.
honest.
I know. I tell people all the time. It's like, these people are like, what? I think the question that people ask me a lot is like, "Oh, how old were you when you started taking lessons, like music lessons?"
Mm,
And I was like, "Man, I don't know." So I asked Dad. I was like, "Dad, how old should a kid be?"
mhm.
And he's like, "Well, when they can read. When they can read, they can read music." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so then I look at those pictures of Aunt, like where she can't even touch the ground, and then I'm like,
Mhm,
"Oh man, we were reading and writing like long before we went to school," which is why
mhm.
I was so young when I graduated from high school because I
Yeah.
didn't go to kindergarten like these fools out there learning their colors. Man, I was writing in sentences, and in first grade I got in trouble because they wanted me to write the letter A 50 times, and I'm like,
Uh,
bro, I could spell out sentences. And so yeah, that was
it's
really
funny.
frustrating, but
They called
anyway.
it pre-first
Yeah.
at our school. It wasn't kindergarten.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mrs.
But
Mallory's class. So what? So
anywho,
anyway, yeah. So what was it like? You decided, oh well, my daughter's
yeah.
really young, and
Well, so I was filling out the application for her to go to kindergarten, and she was 4. And then at the very bottom of the application, it said that she had to be 5 by the time school started, or like by September 30 or something like that. And I was like, well, shoot, her birthday's in December. We have to wait a whole year before she can go to
Mhm.
school. What are we going to do? And so a friend of mine said, oh, you can always homeschool her. And I thought, okay, I can homeschool her for a year. And they said, no, they're still going to want her to be. I said, okay, I can homeschool her for like 3 years. And they're like, yeah. And then, and then I can put her in school. It's like, okay, so let's try that. So I started researching, and I didn't really research very much. I just asked a friend, hey, what are some names of some homeschool things? And they said, well, here's one. And so I went to see the rep. I bought the whole K4. That means you're in kindergarten, but you're only 4.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, so for home educators, they have K4, but not in public school. You have
Yeah.
to be 5. So I was like, this is what we need. It's got cursive writing. She's going to do math and all
Oh,
these things. And
did she still write in cursive?
hmm
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah, my kids, well, I think Sierra can read cursive, but like
the
Cliff
other two.
didn't. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I remember Cliff was like 10 and Angela wrote him something and he looks at it, he's like, "Mom, this isn't cursive. I can't read this." Oh, this is chores
Yeah,
or something.
I've given them both a hard time about that, and I will continue to write their cards in cursive. Anyways, your kids are great, but they need to learn how to read cursive.
Yeah, I think
They're
I
in
don't
their
know.
20s.
I'm probably gonna hear about it after this. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
know. No,
so you decided you were gonna homeschool her for a few
mhm.
years, but then what you got bit by a bug and you go, "Oh man, I really like
Yes.
this."
Well, somebody said to me, "Hey, I think Nora might be, pretty smart. Maybe you can take her to this classical thing. It's right here in
Mhm.
Smyrna. Just go check it out." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so I went with a couple of friends actually. I liked the program, and then but I didn't want her to be in a class with all these boys who were crazy. They were like very physical, and here's Nora like, "Woo." So I was like, I'm not putting her in a class with all boys because that's what they had for her age. And it was January. So I bought the book they were using and I said, we're doing this with our friends at home. And so there were like 3 families and we did it on our own and then had a end of year program and everything. Like
Oh
we
wow.
were we did it all and we included drama, and then I found out later that that was like not really the right thing to do
Oh
because
no.
you're supposed to use the curriculum in the community in the tutorial. So I went to their free parent practicum, which they have
Mhm.
every summer. It's 3 days long of just learning about teaching your kid and learning about classical education. And that's where I got bit by the bug. And then I
Okay.
was like, okay, I got to join one of these. And found a lady who was starting a group in Murfreesboro that was just 20 minutes from my house. So I was like, I'll go to hers because I still didn't want Nora to be with the class with all the boys. So I was like, I'll help you start up this
Bunch of
program,
rowdy people.
I'll help you with your startup because that's also exciting to me, that whole startup thing. And
Mhm.
I was a tutor for her for 3 years. So that kind of solidified our journey in classical conversations.
Yeah, or mom, as mom might say, tutor.
Tutor, tutor.
She's watching. She's like, "Hey."
I know.
so, what was so what are some of the things that maybe people don't know about, like the whole homeschooling thing that people may
Mhm.
have the wrong impression about? Like, so can you name some of the things that really drew you
Mhm.
to it?
The number one thing that people say about homeschool, like their concerns, they'll express their concerns, like how will your child be socialized because they're not, with a bunch of friends every day. And that is one of the biggest myths because when you are a home educator, especially here in Middle Tennessee, you have more opportunities to have your child socialize in various age groups, especially with adults, and learn how to be in situations where they're in a store shopping with mom and you're trying to figure out what you need, and you learn customer service that way. You're in different extracurricular activities that are available to us all day long, and then you're in a community group, you're in play groups, you go to the library, you're in these other groups. It's like there's so many groups you can be part of, and so you
Mhm.
kind of have to pace yourself. You have to really like just choose a few really good quality things and invest your time and your energy in it, because you're going to be building relationships. You have to build friendships and peer groups so that you are not just going rogue and teaching your kid or not teaching your kid appropriately. So I don't know if I kind of went off the rails there, but
No, that's really good. I mean, so what I'm hearing is like it's not just about education, it's also about community.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. And so
Yeah.
Classical Conversations has 3 C's underneath it. It's classical Christian community.
Mhm.
And so the classical part is like the philosophy, your pedagogy, how we're going to do this. The Christian is the lens. And so we are Christian communities. We do have a biblical worldview that we
Mhm.
tutor from and through.
Truth.
And then community.
Couldn't help myself. Sorry. Sorry, mom.
Community.
Yeah.
This is very important because it's a hard job. It's a very
Yeah.
difficult job to teach your own kids and to teach, period. It's
Yeah.
difficult. So typically, you have one day when you're with other families all day long, and that's when
Mhm.
you're doing your curriculum. And then the rest of the week, you're at home doing your work, you're learning, you're reading, you're writing, doing everything, and doing all of your extracurriculars. And so it works well for us. It works well for many families, and it's so it's very enriching in so many ways because it kind of overlaps. Like if you have a spiritual life in your family, it's overlapping with the education component and overlapping with friendship, relationship, social engagement, all of those things. And then you have tutors and directors, then you're overlapping business administration and accountability and all those things.
I had to cover my mouth
Are
because
you? Am I boring you?
no, it's because you said tutors, and I was trying not to say,
Oh, I thought
you
you were
know,
yawning.
no, I was trying not to say truthors, but so if there's if there's some piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's like, because your journey is like it's about as like vast. Oh, hey, look, this Mike's laughing. Ha 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 ha. I know. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, mom. But it's so like your journey is about as deep and wide, as the fountain flowing deep and wide. It
Yeah.
was about as deep and as wide as anybody's career journey, right? Mine
Yeah.
mine was pretty big too. But like, if there's any any piece of advice that you could give to somebody who maybe is like going to school for something or is
Mhm.
pursuing a career that they're like, "Nah, I'm not sure this is right for me," what would it be?
Oh, gosh, that's a big question.
Oh, I know it sure is. But
Okay, wait. Let's
just
let's go backwards just a little bit. The
yeah, yeah,
first
go
part of
ahead.
the question, there's somebody who's studying something.
Yeah, or like pursuing a career
Okay,
that somewhere along the way they decide,
they
I'm
need to
not
change.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah,
this is for me.
yeah. So uh, all I can think of really is because I have that biblical worldview and because I have that spiritual lens, the
Mhm,
only thing I can think of is like whether you turn to the right or to the left, you're going to hear that voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it."
mhm,
So you've got to trust that that the spirit is going to go with you and that he's
mhm,
guiding you.
mhm.
That's all I can think of to say.
Hey, that's good. I wanted to get your take on that. And then like, this is the portion where usually like toward like 40 minutes, the
Mhm.
the episode starts to go off the rails. So I decided to add somebody to the call.
What?
I will be your tutor. I snorted. Sorry.
I'd like to add that she is also in classical conversation.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's correct.
I am.
Hey, look, there's Judge.
Nikki is
that's our
my-
first cousin right there.
Hey, Nitty is my tutor.
I am.
So for anybody out there who's like, why are you guys laughing? This is our sister that we were talking about. This
We
is
just
the
laughed.
one. Yeah. I let me feel like every time it's like, oh, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen. Look at this.
Oh no.
You guys see?
This is gonna be-
Yes. This is
That-
circa, I don't know, 1985.
Those, I mean,
This was that was USS Arizona, right? That's what it looks like.
Oh, is that what it
We're in
is?
Hawaii.
Yes,
Yeah, we're in
we're
Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All I can say is look
It's
at
the
Dad's
Pearl
shoes.
Harbor.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
But look at us all
Wow.
matching. All of our colors tie in.
Yeah. Hey,
yes.
you know?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I had knees back then. That's so amazing.
I was wearing
So-
knickers.
And I had glasses that turned dark in the sun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they were. And, and eventually.
Your boat shoes.
Oh
Very-
man. Hey, and here's our other
Hey.
cousin on the other side of the family. Aunts. So
That's fun.
anyway, yeah, I wanted to bring you guys both on here because
Mhm.
you know what? Because it's my show and I want to do
It's my show and I populate how I want to.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So anyway, look at this. So here's where everybody starts commenting. Hey, what's happening? These are Val. Val's my
People are
oldest
gonna
friend
be
in the
like,
world.
Why do they just laugh all the time?
I know. Well, that's what we do.
Filipino, that's
Kind
fine.
That
of.
is
Yeah.
what we do. That's right.
Laugh
Yeah.
all the
Part of
time.
it is our culture. We're Filipino.
Mhm.
Everything's funny.
And everything's funny. And if
Yep.
you don't know how to have fun, we will tutor you on how to
Oh
Funny.
man.
Yeah. There's Renee. Hey, Renee.
Hey, Renee.
Hey, Renee.
So anyway, yeah, it was good having you on so you can talk about your journey.
Good stories, Nit. It was good.
Yeah.
See, well,
really good.
it was perfect timing because, like, I was about to cry, and then
Yeah, I saw
yeah,
you.
you saw it. You saw it.
It's like quivering.
There she goes.
The quivering started to happen. I was like, oh, now is a good time to add to stage.
Good call. Good call.
It was funny. I thought about this last night and I was like, I've never done that before. I've never had somebody else jump in on
Oh.
somebody else's interview.
Now
But
you know.
I just
I
feel
thought
like
she
it
was
would be
just
appropriate.
crashing it. I saw her come in.
I'm like, what are you guys doing?
No, but like when we do our FaceTime calls and we do hey guys. How's it going?
All right. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. Here we go.
Wait,
All right,
because
here we go.
I have a biggest forehead.
Oh my.
But
I don't know how to do that, yeah.
Past his hairline.
Okay. Hey, I was gonna say, Nitty's forehead is especially shiny today.
I
It's
know.
nice. Good job.
Oh man.
I tried.
Yeah.
Tried to make it extra shiny.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, y'all need some sun. You look like you need some sun. You need to come down south.
I do.
Hang out.
Need some
It's-
sun.
It's a little bit cool on the beach, but went for a walk this afternoon and my head got cooked again. I was like,
Oh.
oh, I got a hat again.
It was
So,
really
we
nice
still
here
have
today.
sun. Yeah.
It's pretty nice. Yeah. It's supposed to be nice for a little bit. I'm sure there'll be another cold snap though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still
You know,
February.
Yeah.
Like
So
today.
if you were listening in on the interview, she was talking about classical conversations. you have some of the same like views about what drew you in.
Yeah, it's kind of a longer story because we started.
Oh,
Like-
hey, I'm gonna send
okay.
you the sign-up
Yeah.
sheet so you can be your own guest. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could just do it on my own, but
Yeah, you
I just
could.
do it. I just do what Nitty tells me to do. That's all.
Hey, there's Jonelle. It's another cousin
Hey.
on Dad's side.
Nitty's a good chewer.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
it's
if anybody out there is
classical
like,
conversations, and I can talk. So
Yeah.
that's all you-
right. So anybody out there is probably like, man, they don't go by their names; they're given names.
True.
No,
This
that's
is
another.
true.
Mm-mm.
That's
Filipino
another
thing.
Filipino culture thing
Yeah.
where the parents give you like 4 names and you don't go by any of them. That's normal.
Well,
Normal.
but none of us have double names. Some people
No,
do
that's
call
true.
me Nit, but really hardly anyone calls me that.
Who calls you that? It's so weird.
I'm sorry.
What? I don't even know. Oh my gosh.
Nit,
Yeah.
Nit.
You know, I had actually
Toto.
thought oh my gosh. Hey, we're gonna sign off here. I had actually
Sorry.
like, people are like, these are siblings. You guys are supposed to be fighting. Well, we did back in
Oh,
the day.
man.
And I outgrew
We did.
everybody, and it was like not great. That was not a good look. You know, I think the last time I pushed Knit, I was probably in like 6th grade, and Dad came home, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna do that again. That was scary. So,
No, but I used to brag on you because I used to say how you got bigger than me and you could have pummeled either one of us.
Oh, that's right.
You never
That's
did.
right.
It's
You
true.
never-
It's
Could
true.
have held you both
Yeah.
up by your necks. But
Yeah.
no.
Even
You
when
were
I got really
never
mad at you
physically
for
violent with us.
even when I got really mad at you for starting a fire in the garage.
Oh my
But,
gosh. Are we just airing my dirty laundry on LinkedIn?
You invited me.
I was like 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade. Okay. And it was like the remnants of somebody's solar system diorama. Because
Yeah.
there were like styrofoam balls and like wires.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember being in there heating up the wires, like, ooh, how, and then what
With
happens
Dad's
when I put it,
soldering iron.
like, how close can I get it to the styrofoam ball before the styrofoam
How
ball
close could
started
you
to
get
melt?
to burning our house down?
Mm.
Pretty close, because
Pretty
that
close.
it was in the garage, and we had a rug in the garage and like all this stuff in the garage. And I don't even remember one day in my life that we ever, in the house we grew up in, that we ever had a car parked in our garage. It was always stuffed,
I do
right?
remember. Yeah.
Really?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
There were
Yeah.
a couple of
Well,
times.
I'm much younger, so
It wasn't for
Oh,
oh
long.
my gosh. Talking about airing dirty laundry. Bro, did you not talk about that enough?
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
this
man.
guy. He
guy.
talked about like I was a bad influence, but I was just chilling. I was just minding my own business, and he wants to do pole vaulting.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. You know what? I'm gonna spare everybody all the inside jokes and stuff like that. It's so much. It's so much.
Too much.
But it was too much. But it was a lot of fun, and I was so excited. I finally got one of my sisters on here, and then lo and behold, I got them both on here. And soon,
Good one.
soon you will have your time to be interviewed, and that's going to be a good one.
Do I get to
All right.
crash that one?
Oh, heck yes. I might send out
just send my
studio
forehead.
invites to everybody. I might send out studio invites to everybody, John Jay and everybody. Who
Mhm.
knows? We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
he's John Jay is going to be one of my guests.
Awesome.
This summer. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Hey, we're not talking about PVC pipes, okay? We're not doing that.
You gotta share that story,
We're not
though.
talking about PVC pipes or like neighbors' windows or
Oh my
or
gosh.
anything like that.
Or matching 3-piece suits. None of that.
We actually
Mm.
might talk about that. So
You
we'll see
gotta
what
find that
happens.
picture because
Yeah, that's a good picture. Yep.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys are still
We-
chunky.
I still am chunky. So
I meant childhood chunky.
oh, right. Yeah. It's not cute now. But anyway, I'm gonna sign off, okay? But you guys don't go anywhere because what I'll see you guys in the studio. So next week, you might get a kick out of this. Next week, or is it in 2 weeks? It's in 2 weeks. I'm gonna take a break next week, but 2 weeks from today, our show is gonna be it's gonna be another Nashville Software School graduate who actually lives in Marquette, Michigan. And so
Wow.
yeah, my
Parallel
sister down here at the
universe.
bottom, she used to live in Marquette. So that was cool when I saw that he lived there, and I was like, oh my gosh. So we had,
That's
something
cool.
to talk about since I've been there. So
Mhm.
anyway, so you guys have a great week, but you guys don't go anywhere. But everybody else, I'll see you guys. Peace.
Hey.